Hello everyone, welcome to APTI PLUS Academy for Civil Services. This is a special video on Fortnight current affairs. This is Fortnight 1 for the month of September. As you must be aware that we have two fortnight every month, right? So this is an initiative where we try to revise you some of the important news that was relevant for entire fortnight that would be important both for the prelims and mains examination. So this would be a kind of revision that you can have in one video. And just to tell you that the video include the news from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB. So this is a sort of comprehensive video that will give you an idea about the entire fortnight news, right? That is most relevant for the examination. So just have to look on the list of today's topic. So these are the top 10 important topics that I'll be discussing with you. I'm not reading out the entire topic. You can just pause this video. You can read the topic. We'll gradually move one by one, right? We'll see each and every topic one by one. Those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe APTI PLUS Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, do not forget to give a thumbs up. So the first topic, that is Center Approve New Drone Rule 2021. This is something which is very important for your prelims examination. This is factually important and possibly a question can be framed. So what are the changes that government has made? Recently, Ministry of Civil Aviation have passed a drone rule. What basically this call for? This particular bill replaces the Unarmed Aircraft System Rule 2021. So this is the first changes that has been made. And as per the new rule 2021, the weight of the fully loaded unmanned aircraft has been increased from 300 to 500. So there's an increase in 200 weight. So this can be factually important for you. Now this also increased the payload carrying craft using the logistics and transportation services. So this rule will cover the drone taxi. As we know in India, still we do not have such operative drone taxis, but very soon it would be operating in India under this rule. Now some of the key features of the new rule that you need to understand, mostly relevant for your examination. So the key features include the development of drone corridor cargo. So there would be a dedicated cargo drone that would be developed. Accordingly, they would have to be operated, right? So an unmanned aircraft system promotion council would be set up. So to regulate the entire mechanism, this call for establishment of a council that would facilitate the business friendly regulatory regime. So this is the first point. Second, the rules aims at simplifying the procedures where there would be a methodology, a complete setup where they would call for reducing the compliance burden of the drone operation. So in India, we have seen a lot more red tapeism that is coming. To reduce it completely, government is trying to simplify it. The third is Drone Promotion Council. This is also known as DPC. So DPC stands for Drone Promotion Council. This would be set up by the government of India with participations of academia, some people from academics, startups and other stakeholders that would facilitate the growth oriented regulatory regime. And there is some accidental, if there is any accident involved with the drone reported within 48 hours, the maximum penalty for the violators would have been reduced to 1 lakh rupees. So these are the nutshell important point that you must know. Now, no security clearance would be required. As I've told you in the beginning, government is trying to reduce the red tapeism and they're trying to promote the drone services in the country. So under the new rule, no security clearances would be required and before any registrations or licenses of the drone, right? So these are the changes that government has made. Also, the number of the form of the permission that has been reduced was from 25 just to 5. Earlier, it was 25 level of permission that was required. Now, government has reduced it to only 5 permissions, right? No pilot license would be required for operating the nano drones, right? Many people, even YouTube bloggers, you must have seen any traveler blogger who are using nano drones. They're not allowed. They would not be required basically to get a license from the government of India, right? They can use that for non-commercial uses. And the import of drone would be regulated by the Director General of Foreign Trade. So this is something which is factually very important for your prelims examination. and there would be no restriction on the foreign ownership of Indian drone companies. So this is about the security clearance part. Now let's understand the digital sky platform. This is another level of platform that government would be coming up. So the manufacturer importer would be able to generate the drone with a unified ID number. So we have UID Aadhaar card for every individual the citizen of this country. So accordingly, there would be a unique identification number for the drone. And this would be for the digital sky platform that would be operated through self-certification route, right? So there's some route that would be given, and accordingly they would have to operate. So an interactive space map would be given, that colors, they have different color bifurcation. So first would be green, yellow and red zone. This would be displayed on the digital sky platform. Accordingly they would have to be operated. So the yellow zone call for the reductions from 45 kilometers to 12 kilometers. No permission would be required for the drone to travel in the green zone. The green corridor area would be allowed to travel up to 200 feet. And this is like 12 kilometers from the airport perimeters. And the carriage of arms, ammunition, explosive and military stores on the drone are strictly prohibited. So this is again a factually important question they can ask in prelims, whether these sort of items are allowed or not, right? So I think most of the important parts are clear to you. Now, advantages of new drone rule, how it is going to change and revamp the part of services that is being used in India. So the new drone rule would help to start up. The youth would be getting benefited from this sector. It will also have the new possibilities of innovation and business. Definitely more and more entrepreneur would be coming into the sector, and this can be a boon for the sector, right? And it will help to leverage the India's strengthening innovations, technology engineering, and make India a drone hub. So with the new rule, what government is trying to do, they are trying to build up ecosystem where more and more drone hubs can be created in the country, right? And this would enable the startups and other SMS, that is MSME, or you can say SMEs, the small and medium enterprises. They would be creating the innovations, applications, whether it can be used for e-commerce, agriculture, healthcare, emergency responses and logistic. As we know, logistic is getting the another leap of advancement in the country, as we have seen the lot more e-commerce side that is operating in India, that has boosted the logistics sector in the country as well. Now the other important topic or news you can say, that is 13 BRICS Summit, right? So recently the Prime Minister of India has chaired the annual summit. This is an important question, not only for UPSC but for many other competitive examination. So who was the member, who was the president of the BRICS meeting? It was India, headed by the Prime Minister, and it was held virtually because of the pandemic. It was not possible to conduct it physically, so the virtual mode was conducted. What was the theme? This is very relevant for your examination. The themes was BRICS at 15, intra-BRICS cooperation for continuity, consolidations and consensus. So three word has been used. So always you will see in this type of multilateral forum, they use some synonymous, basically the words which is related, alphabetic related words. So this time they call for 3C, or you can say 4C, cooperation for continuity, consolidation and consensus. What were the major outcome of 13 BRICS meeting? We'll see one by one. The first is the counter-terrorism action plan. So during this meeting, they have come up with the CTAP. You can, in short, you can write it CTAP. It defines the approach of action plan for the BRICS countries, where they would be coming in area under the, basically this calls for counter radicalization of online terrorist threat, border management, information and intelligence sharing. So the main aim is to curb the terrorism globally. Second is the Delhi Declaration. This is something very, very important for your prelims as well as for the mains, right? So the declaration called for reform in the principal organ of the United Nations Security Council. India has been advocating for the reform of the Security Council very long, but still we do not have any conclusive response coming from the UN. So in its first BRICS meeting, the collective positions was to strengthening and reforming the multilateral system. So this is a long pending reform which require to be addressed urgently on a priority basis. And it's also called for an inclusive intra-Afghan dialogue. As we know, the Taliban forces has taken the government over there. They're operating with a full-fledged government. So this is a cause for concern for India, being the neighboring country. We want that place should not be used for terrorism in any way, right? And apart from Afghanistan, the BRIC leaders also took up the conflicts in Myanmar, Syria, the tension that has escalated in the Korean Peninsula, Israel Palestine violence, and other territorial disputes. So, what is important for you is to understand that what is the important multilateral topic that we discuss. So, these are some of the topics that you must be aware of. Now on COVID also, because we have seen COVID continuing from past 17 months. So this is something which was inevitable and was to be discussed under the meeting. So this called for India and South Africa and the World Trade Organization for waiver of the trade related aspects on the intellectual property rights, and to ensure कि expansions is there in the COVID-19 platform should be there around the world, right? So this called for the rebounding of the economy, making the pace of the economy coming to the back norm. Now, new mu variant of COVID-19. This is something, a variant which is a variant of interest recognized by WHO. So WHO has come up with the new variant which is considered to be the lethal for mankind. So the World Health Organization has said that it has closely monitored the new coronavirus that is a variant of interest named mu. So there are two type of variant. One is called variant of interest and other is called variant of concern. If you watched my daily news analysis video, you must be aware of this, right? I have discussed in this detail. The WHO have warned the new variant shows the sign of possible resistance to the vaccine. It was being argued from the expert, whatever vaccine still available in India or globally, the mu variant is going to be resistant on that particular vaccines. So mu, or it is also known as, scientifically it is known as B.1.621, right? So this was first identified in Colombia as per WHO. It is something which is larger outbreak in South America and Europe. The mu cases were also been reported in this country like United Kingdom, Europe, US and Hong Kong. And this is the variant of interest. I have told you this is VOI, right? After it gets another advancement, it would be called as variant of concern. So this is closely monitored by WHO, and mu is a fifth variant of interest to be monitored by WHO since March. Now, global prevalence, if you talk about the global prevalence of mu, all the global prevalence of mu variant was among the sequenced. This is currently below 0.1. It's not that much, but again, we have to note that this is virus. It can escalate within a week, and within 10 days, it can change the entire scenario. So as of now, the prevalence is only restricted to 0.1%. And its prevalence in Colombia is 39%, Ecuador in 13%, and has constantly been increasing. So the new variant was added to WHO watch list on August 30, that it was detected in 39 countries, right? So these were the countries that it was found. Now the other news, that is CSE to start the passport services. Basically, they would be starting the registration common services center. So the government has allowed and approved the Common Services Center to manage and operate the passports Kendra kiosk in the rural area. Basically, the people in the rural areas do not have such facilities that they can reach out to the district level of, basically, talking about the people in the rural area have paucity and they cannot reach out to the regional centers which is located mostly in the capital for the passport. So they have started where the Common Services Center now can aid them to get a passport, right? So the village level entrepreneurs who operate in the CSE would be interested to collect documents. Now these people would be collecting document. No more people individually need to visit there. So this is acting as a bridge between government and a regional passport office, right? So regional passport office is basically located in a good like tier 2 cities or in a capital of a particular state. So now the people, these CSE centers would be collecting passport document documents, photographs, the other details that is required for the verification, right? And they can initially create a non-police verifications, and a nominal fee up to 100 could be charged for the same. Now, this CSE was created as a special purpose by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology over the past 3 years that tie up the partners both for the public sector across the different domain, leaving the presence across the country. Now, what is Common Services Center? This is a part of Digital India program which government started, and the main aim was to provide basically digital services to village in India by contributing digital and financial inclusion in the society. So this is a kind of multiple service single point model, right? In many cities, like basically in the tier 2 cities, it is called government center, Pragya Kendra. So these sort of names are given to the Common Services Center. So they are able to access the delivery of essential public utility. They can also impanel people for the social welfare schemes, healthcare, financial educations, agriculture services, and other hosts, which is being provided to them via Government of India, central government, state government, or any other entity, right? So they are basically focusing upon quality of life, quality of services to rural and remote areas people. This would be mostly only to quality of services, right? So how the level of basically technology driven services can be given to the rural area peoples. Now, what is current CSE services? Basically, they are as of now has been launched in the state of Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Now, government is looking forward with a full-fledged rollout with the CSE services national-wide. And at present, CSE are allowed to fulfill and upload the applications form, pay an applications fee on the applicant behalf, and schedule an appointment for them. This is to get an appointment to get a passport, right? So this is what the present CSE services looks like. Now, Cabinet Committee on Security has cleared C-295 aircraft deal, right? So this is more to have a good logistic. The Cabinet Committee on Security has cleared procurement of 56 transport aircraft service from Airbus. Airbus is a company which would be manufacturing this entire aircraft, right? So the deal cost around 20,000 crore rupees to government, and the decision is a major steps where Air Force, the Indian Air Force would be getting a transport fleet. So this is a large helicopter that can be used for a transportation and logistic parts. So according to the Ministry of Defense, this is first of its kind deal which is taking place in the country. Now, how the procurement procedure will work? Initially, we'll be getting 16, basically the helicopter, you can say, the planes would be delivered from Spain within 48 months of the contract, and remaining 40, there's total 56. So the remaining 40 would be manufactured in India by the consortium of Tata Group over 10 years. About C-295 aircraft, this would be installed with an indigenous electronic warfare suite, and this is mostly a transport aircraft, right, which can carry up to 5 to 10 ton of the capacity, and this comes with a contemporary technology, state-of-art technology, which would replace the Avro aircraft of Indian Air Force. So this is the previous variant of helicopter that is being used in Indian Air Force. And the craft has a rear ramp door which quickly react to the para-dropping of the troops and the cargoes. Now, this decision would definitely boost the aerospace industry in the country. This calls for the involvement of a lot more MSME, that is micro, small and medium enterprises. And this procurement offer an opportunity where we can have public-private partnership, and we can ensure that a good kind of quality is given to the Indian Air Force, right? And the project is augmented to have a domestic aviation manufacturing, reducing the import dependence for the other country. We are mostly exporting. Now, after this, basically, the agreement which took place, it will call for more and more indigenous development of the aerospace sectors. Now, center allows women to entry into the National Defense Academy. So the Union government has informed that the Supreme Court, they have informed the Supreme Court in an affidavit that the women entry was permitted and the central government has taken decision that now the women can be the part of National Defense Academy, right? So the decision was taken by the central government, and they said that they would be filing an affidavit by September 22. So this is what the Solicitor General of India, Tushar Mehta, has informed the Supreme Court. So basically, it's called for a gender equality in each respects, where only males were allowed as of now, and the decision would formally be in paper after once it become a rule. Now the women would be also allowed to be prepared for a career in the India after 12. This examination is conducted by UPSC. UPSC every year conduct this examination. Now, Supreme Court has also given some previous ruling where they have said that if government is categorizing women as a physiological weaker to women, this is a sex stereotype that should not be formulated in the gender equality country, right? So this is something what court had said, and it said previously on February 2020, and had declared that the Short Service Commission SSC women officers are eligible for the permanent commission and commanding post in Indian Army, irrespective of their year of services. So this was a ruling that was given by the Supreme Court in favor of women, the women who are part of the defense forces. Now, women strength, if you see women strength in defense forces, 1.4 million strong Indian army is there. Women constitute around 0.56%, while 0.1% in Air Force and 6.5% in Navy. So if you see, like the more participation there in is in Navy, followed by Air Force, and then we have Indian Army. So right, so these are the chronology which shows the active participation of women. Now, National Institution Ranking Framework, which was recently released by the Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education has been renamed. Earlier it was Ministry of Human Resource and Development. Now it is Ministry of Education. So NIRF, it's a kind of ranking which has been given by all the colleges and institutions in the country by the Government of India with all its parameters fulfilled. So Ministry of Education has recently released the NIRF ranking 2021, and it evaluates the top universities and colleges in India. So there are 11 important categories upon which the NIRF ranking has been given. So which are the important 11 categories? You can say the first is the overall category. Then we have university categories, engineering category, management, pharmacy, and colleges. These are 6 categories. Other 5 categories include medical, law, architecture, dental, and research. So these are field specific categories upon which the ranking has been given. But how this ranking has been given, there are some parameters. According to that, the ranking has been given to the institution. So which are all that parameter that is important for the examination? So first, the broad parameter is teaching, learning, and resources. Under this, these are the 4 subhead that government take into consideration. You can pause this video, you can read it out. These sub categories are not that important because you will not be able to learn this. But what you have to do, you have to learn the main important, right? Teaching, learning, and resources. The second important criteria or parameter is research and professional practices. So under this, these things are taken into consideration. Then we have graduation outcomes, right? So it checks the merit of university examination, metric numbers of PhD student and graduates. Now the other 2, in totality, there are 5 important parameters upon which an institution or college is being evaluated. So these are top 3, and the other 2 include outreach and inclusivity, upon which these are the parameters, sub parameters, and other is the last is the peer perception, that is academic peers and employees. So this is how the complete evaluation for the NRIF ranking has been done. Now India signed deal for assault rifle. So the government of India has signed a deal where they can boost the military equipments to the defense forces. So India and Russia have recently signed a deal where they would be procuring 70,000 of AK series rifle. AK series, you must be aware. In AK series, one series is which is very common, which everyone know is AK-47 and AK-56, right? So India and Russia are working to have jointly manufactures 6 lakh of AK-203. Now the series has come to 3203. When we used to be there, we were a child, we used to see that AK-47 was the most advanced. Still it is operating, but the advanced level is 203, right? So under the monetization plan, the army would be purchasing a large number of light machine gun. Basically, they would be replacing the previous and older variant of the guns. Off-shelf procurement would be done. Basically, this would be off-shelf procurement where multiple variant of AK series would be given, and the contract was signed between the Ministry of Defense and Russian representative. So this would be a sort of collaboration between India and Russia, and the government is looking for more manufacturing in India itself. Right? And Indo-Russia Rifle Private Limited was set up in Korwar in Uttar Pradesh. And these rifles are expected to begin arriving in the country by November this year. So this is factually important. They can ask you in which particular city or in which particular state the Indo-Russia Rifle Private Limited was set up. Upgradations of rifle for armed forces. Eventually, after the AK-203 would come to India, it would replace the INSAS rifle. You must have seen INSAS, that is mostly being used by the BSF forces. So this is called Indian Small Arms System. If you don't know, you can search the Google image for INSAS, you'll get an idea. So now the AK-203 would be given to all Army, Navy and Air Forces, right? So this is to ensure that our forces, our paramilitary forces, our defense forces are well upgraded with the new technology of AK-203. Now, initiative to restore the Pashmina shawl glory. This is something which is native to Jammu and Kashmir, and this has a very good quality of shawls, which calls for a high price, and this takes a lot more effort. But what government is trying to do, they're trying to store the Pashmina shawls glory, which was not actually there in this time during the COVID-19. So the Directorate of Handicraft and Handloom, the Kashmir, have announced minimum support price for the geographical indications handmade Pashmina shawl. Now, in the line of MSP and FRP, the government would be providing MSP for the Pashmina shawl also to restore the charm that has been lost. Right? So what is Pashmina wool? Pashmina wool is a kind of fine Kashmir wool, and this Kashmir wool is a strong, light, soft and fine in textures. And the garment made from Kashmir wool would offer an excellent insulations. Approximately what we wear in the normal times, provide 3 times better insulation to the SIP wool. Advantages of the decision: definitely once the MSCP would be provided, more and more people would be coming into the hand weaving sectors, and it call for the involvement of Kashmiri shawl people, and this is something which is famous not only in India but also abroad. Even many important politicians, celebrity used to use this. And the move is likely to generate employment, improve economic prospects of women weavers, because women are the mostly a workforce that participate in the Pashmina shawl making. And it will increase the wage of the weavers, spinners, and it will rule out the middleman. Once the MSPs which is being provided, that would be provided directly into the bank account. So no middleman involvement would be there. Now, decrease in women participation, as we have seen, because of the prices and very competitive prices, they actually were not making profit. So the women participation has gradually increased, right? So from 1 lakh, the workforce, it has just reduced to 10,000, and it has impacted the process of involvement of hand shawl making, shorting, dusting, dehairing. These are the procedures and process that involve in making of the Pashmina shawls. Now, Zapad multilateral exercise. This is something which is again important, factually important for prelims. So according to Indian Navy, Zapad 2021 is one of the theater level exercise between Russian army forces that will primarily focus on the operations against the terrorists, right? So we know we have a lot more exercises. For you, it is important that you read out all the important exercise that was conducted in last 1 to 1.5 years, right? That would be relevant for the examination. And the exercise aims to enhance military strategy among the participant nations, right, and execute them. And the Naga Battalion group is participating in this exercise that will features the Armed Combined Task Forces in India. Which among the following were the participant countries? So there were 17 important countries. This in the, if you talk about the active participation, so the 9 were the participant country, which include Mongolia, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Serbia, Russia, India, and Belarus. And there were 8 countries that were concluded as observer, right? So these countries were basically observer in that: Pakistan, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Uzbekistan, and Sri Lanka. So these are the observer country and these are the participant country. India is a participant country, right? So this was all about the FCA for September 1. We have a lot more other initiative on our YouTube channel. We have daily news and editorial analysis every day from the Hindu and Indian Express. We have IES Gazetted magazine on our portal. You can refer to the IES GAN website. We have PIB compilations, MPR, Gist of Yojana and Kurukshetra. A lot more initiative that will help you during this journey of preparation. So do check it out. If you have any other concern, do let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much for listening.